Welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Abbey Road, NW8, the inside story of the world's most famous recording studio. I'm quite certain that many people disagree with that. Of course, there are many others. Motown comes to mind, obviously Stax and loads of other studios. But still, David Hepworth, with a foreword by Sir Paul McCartney. Obviously, it says Paul McCartney there. Now, David Hepworth has brought out so many brilliant books. I have loved all the ones I've got. In fact, I've only got 3 of them. There's a couple I keep looking through the list. I thought, I must get those as well. So, and there's the back cover. Now, there's so many bands, of course, that have played there. Lots of great music produced, lots and lots of talk about all the various technical aspects, all about what happens, the creativity, and also just things like going out and getting fish and chips, all those sort of things, or going out cigarettes, everything like that, all the various engineers, what happened, just covers everything. I just found this fascinating read. It's only just come out. Picked it up in Falls yesterday, and I'd quickly looked online as well to see on Amazon. It was not available at present, so I'm not certain why. But as soon as I saw it, I thought, yes, I must get a copy of that. So Abbey Road, let's just go through some of it, show some of the examples, pictures, and you can see there Abbey Road itself. Absolutely amazing, just a complete diagram of all the various rooms. And you think, unfortunately, so small, you just can't make it out. It could be anything. You really would need a magnifying glass. Slightly hard to see that. And you can see there forward by, and you can see all the various people. Noel Coward, obviously Gracie Fields, George Martin, Cliff, obviously Cliff Richards, and Hazel Yarwood, Beatles, Bach, a few people. Can't remember Bach. Was he recording there? Probably not. Maybe. Pink Floyd, Roy Harper, Jacqueline Dupree, and I suspect there's a few more, but this it continues on there. Steve Harley, Alan Parsons, Ken Townsend, Star Wars, just absolutely brilliant. Noel Gallagher, and also Guy Hands, and many others. And also it's got a playlist and bibliography at the back. I love his introductions. His introductions are always great. That was one of the things that sold me for these other books. And I'm just going to quickly show you those before I go any further. This one is just superb. 1971, never a dull moment. This is just a brilliant read from start to finish. And I love the introduction as well. In fact, the introductions are always superb. Also, I love his videos as well. I must say, I always enjoy his YouTube channel. Just really fun to watch. Fabulous creations, how the LP saved our lives, and Uncommon People, the rise and fall of the rock star. So I must get the other ones as well at some point. I'm not certain why this is a Penguin book, exactly the same as these. Why they didn't go for the same style. I really like this style. The orange and the black really make it stand out. This doesn't stand out in the same way. Having the wall just there. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Obviously, it's a house, so you want to make the... But I hope that if for next books they do it this style, because it just looks so much better. You see it all that style of band. Now, they haven't been consistent. Would it be have that? No, they haven't been consistent. It would be nice if they were consistent, but that's just being pedantic on my part. Still, the book itself, just great. Full of so much information all the way through. I just found every section just fascinating. It obviously covers every Elgar there. Just great picture. And also, of course, all the text as well. Lots and lots of information about everything, about the recording studio, about the process, about the various people involved, the time spent, the recording things, writing down how it's catalogued, people going out for fish and chips, getting the cigarettes, bringing what people were doing, the timings that they could stay in the studio if they stayed overnight. Tons of stuff. Just talking about every single aspect of that studio. It's just fascinating all the way through it. Noel Coward there. And you can see, obviously, there's changes in the styles all the way 30s, 1940s, 1950s, etc., etc. That's there. The operation rested on the professionalism and precision. I can well imagine. Obviously, lots and lots of detail about that. Just fascinating all the way through. Of course, goes into the Beatles. Would be very surprising. A book about Abbey Road was not mentioned the Beatles a little bit. Of course, there was the comedy, all the comedy records, as well as the Shadows, Cliff, etc. And also, let's just go there. You've got, what's this one? The Hollies. I love the Hollies. Hollies produce so many great records. The Beatles are superb, but there are also so many other acts, I think, like the Zombies, mentions about the Zombies. And I love the fact that they were doing the Zombies album, the Odyssey and Oracle one. I think that's what it's called, isn't it? It's an album that I've never heard of until recently, and I thought, I must get that one. Wow, so great songs on it. And I'm thinking, all these years, I've never listened to that album. Wow, it's just one of those brilliant albums. I love the fact that there was a spelling mistake as well. Or maybe that was intentional. It does say about spelling mistake, but you could easily imagine it could have been intentional. Who knows? But he also got here details freehold building site. Oh, that's fascinating. It even tells you about like 9 bedrooms, bathroom, 5 reception rooms, kitchen, 2 servant rooms, and it was 23 pence. No! I don't know how much it was. Can't see the price here. Obviously, it was probably a lot. It must have cost more than a few 23 pence. Important block of residential flats for which there is a steady increase in demand in the neighbourhood for studio residences, etc., etc. Wow. Vacant possession will be given upon completion, no less. But you can see all the various acts that were there. I imagine it was reasonable. It was probably expensive even then. I mean, that must have been an impressive building. Oh, Fats Waller there. And also you got Cliff. Obviously, I love that one. You got obviously Pete Sellers there, as well as many others, obviously. George Martin and the Beatles, strange enough. Again, it would be surprising not to have a reasonable amount of information. But of course, the Beatles have been covered a lot. If there's anything that you really don't need to have read too much about in this sort of book, it's probably the Beatles. As much as obviously you've got to have something. But Bach, now, I mean, his appearance obviously is important. Definitely. Roy Harper, Harvest. Oh, that was Harvest. Wow. Yeah, all those sort of bands and music. Harvest. Was it a band? Was the record? Oh, anyway, giving away my complete lack of knowledge about that. Wasn't that one, was it? Barclay James Harvest, that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe it wasn't anything to do with that. Who knows? Jacqueline Dupree. As well as many. Oh, Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. No, that wasn't done there. 1965 has been a big year for the 7-inch single. I think 1965 definitely was. I agree with him there. I mean, you got here Bob Dylan, Like Rolling Stone. Rolling Stones, of course, Satisfaction. You've Lost That Loving Feeling, classic. In the Midnight Hour. Also, of course, Californian Girls, Beach Boys, as well as Motown Stack. Also, I'm Alive by the Hollies, Manfred Mann. You've got to go ferry across the Mersey. Wow, Help, Ticket to Ride. What a year. Just for music, just staggeringly brilliant. And Tears, as it says here. However, the biggest UK hit single was Tears by Ken Dodd. But still, I really thought Ken Dodd was an amazing singer. That was the thing. He was really amazingly talented. Staggering. And they got all the details about Ken Dodd there. So maybe it wasn't Barclay James Harvest. I haven't read every single page. I only just got it yesterday. I was reading quite a lot of it on the train, so I have to say that can't say I know every single bit of it. I would admit, complete utter embarrassment, the fact that I've never bought, and I haven't listened to it for years, the Dark Side of the Moon, which is, I mean, consider it's supposed to be one of the great albums. It's not one I've got, and it's Dark Side of the Moon, and it's obviously got the record that the world played the whole building. I must get that at some point. Who knows? Anyway, All Story Feels Forever, and many others, and also Star Wars. Now that, of course, is brilliant. I love Star Wars. I love the films. So Star Wars films. And you've got many others, of course. I mean, it's just page after page of tons of information. You got here unmixing, I don't know who's this. Oh, Kanye West. Kanye West there, 2007, as well as many others. My apologies, my neighbour has decided suddenly he'd been knocking at the side of the building. So, playlist. I love the playlist. I'm really glad he always includes that. And I think all these other books have got playlists. I am quite certain. Actually, I'm just going to go and have a look after saying that. I'm certain, because yes, they have playlists. When you say that sort of thing, 1971 has definitely got a playlist, but it's great to see the playlist here because, of course, it includes a lot of great songs and albums, and you think, wow, like Hollies one, I'm Alive, Cilla Black, their Alfie, classic, Matt Monro, Born Free, classic, Donovan, Sunshine Superman, Strawberry Fields, Zombies, Time of the Season, just absolutely superb, Procol Harum, Salty Dog, and so on. Great, always great, because then, of course, you can go and listen to the music and think, wow, as you're reading this, you can put the music on in the background. I didn't know, I was listening on the train, it was a bit tricky to do that. But also, you got bibliography as well. Always a curse in these books, because, as always, you end up looking through it and think, wow, I must go and buy that book. And there's a few books in there, I thought, that sounds good. Bing Crosby, A Pocket Full of Dreams. Didn't realise that was out. Also, you got here Nick Nick Mason, Inside Out, Personal History of Pink Floyd. I've been watching lots of documentaries they've had lots on Pink Floyd on Sky Arts and those sort of ones. Of course, BBC4, they're always good. And also the sources. So this book, absolutely wonderful. Abbey Road. I am certain I will be picking up this book up and rereading it and going through it many times. Normally with this sort of book, it's by chapter by chapter. Very rarely would I just go through all the way through page 1 all the way through. But it's one of those ones you can sort of think, oh, you know what, let's read about Pink Floyd. And you can read chapter, there's about 10, 15 pages for a chapter, and you just read that. And you just learn everything about Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and even buy the record at some point. So this is great. Abbey Road, just yet another absolute classic from David Hepworth. I really, really love his YouTube channel as well. Just brilliant. Just superb. So many great chats and conversations they have on that, and lots of information as well. I imagine that he's also talked about this. I'm quite certain. I must go and check if he's done a video recently of this Abbey Road. I think he must have done. I'm quite certain he's done actually. Yeah. Brilliant book. Totally recommended. Abbey Road, NW8.